Thank you. The gentlelady yields. Chair now recognizes the chairman of the entire Judiciary Committee, Chairman Jordan, the gentleman from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Director, did you lie or did you guess?
I'm sorry, sir, can you repeat?
When it came to the numbers, you were off. You said that violent crime went down and it actually went up. So I want to know, were you lying to the country or were you just guessing?
Welcome to Liberty, Watchtower, your front row seat to the pulse of American politics. Here, we cut through the noise to bring you sharp, timely updates, in-depth analysis, and bold commentary on the issues shaping the nation. Whether it's breaking news from Capitol Hill or grassroots movements making waves across the country, Liberty Watchtower keeps you informed, engaged, and ready to think critically. Subscribe and stay tuned. Freedom starts with awareness. In the United States, crime data plays a foundational role in shaping public policy, allocating law enforcement resources, and informing the public's sense of safety and justice. Each year, federal agencies, particularly the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, release national crime reports that provide a snapshot of trends in violent and property crimes across the country.
So if you're referring to the 2021 data, I want to be clear that the information that we have, our most complete data set from the information we collected, shows that the crime went down. So I think when there is a question about that...
Oh, so you're saying you weren't lying or you weren't guessing, you just got it wrong.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Well, my understanding is you reported that violent crime went down 2.1% for the year that you were reporting on, when in actual fact, it went up 4.5%. So you were off by a pretty large margin. I want to know what was the reason for you being off and having to adjust that figure and say, no, we said it. I think you even said in the press release it was a historic decline, when in actual fact it had increased. So I want to know again, what was the reason for you getting it wrong? Guessing, lying, or you just screwed up?
So I want to be clear that the report that we issued in 2022 that showed the decline from 21 to 22 is in fact true and accurate. What is being misinterpreted right now is that our automation numbers that are showing in the system now do not show that manually sourced data. The team really wanted to make sure they got it right. So we only had 65% of the law enforcement agency population coverage when we got the 2021 numbers.
Well, let me ask you a simple question. Did it go up or down?
It went down, according to the data set that we have.
And then what was the number you reported that went up? What was that number?
We did not report a number that went up.
So the footnote that said it increased 4.5%, that's wrong? Something's got to be wrong, because on one hand you say it went up, on the other hand previously you said it went down. I mean, which one is right?
I'm not familiar with the footnote that said that crime went up by 4.5%.
4.5% increase in violent crime.
I'm not familiar with that. I'll have to look into it.
You're not familiar with that? That's the whole reason you're here.
I'm not familiar with a footnote in our system that says violent crime went up 4.5% in 21 to 22.
You submitted that report, it said it went up 4.5%, and you're saying that's not true?
According to the data that we have from 21 to 22, violent crime went down.
Violent crime went down. And then what's the 4.5% that said it went up? Where'd that come from? We're just making it up. The chairman talked about his opening statement. This whole committee, the stuff we put together that we looked at for our preparation for the committee, all says it went up, and you're saying, nope, that's not true.
I believe that the 4.5% number came from outside sources that are looking at the data as it sits today. That is incomplete. It only has the 65% of the law enforcement population coverage in 2020.
So you stand by the number you reported back in earlier this fall, the 2.1% decline in violent crime?
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I think that would be a surprise to most people. Most people we talk to feel like violent crimes increase. Certainly seems that way, but you're saying it didn't. It didn't at all. So how was the interpretation made that said it went up 4.5%?
These figures are not just academic. They influence everything from legislative debates to election campaigns, from city council budgets to national law enforcement strategy. At the heart of this system is the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting, UCR program, which for decades served as the primary framework for gathering crime data. More recently, the FBI has transitioned to a more detailed and sophisticated platform called the National Incident-Based Reporting System, NIBRS. While NIBRS allows for richer data collection, its rollout has faced challenges, most notably incomplete participation from local police departments. As of 2021, only about 65% of law enforcement agencies had adopted the system, leaving significant gaps in the national data picture. This transition period has opened the door to conflicting interpretations of crime trends, particularly regarding violent crime. In a contentious congressional hearing, lawmakers confronted a federal official, likely a senior FBI or DOJ representative, over an apparent contradiction in crime reporting. While the agency reported a 2.1% decrease in violent crime from 2021 to 2022, independent analysts, using available public data, claimed it had actually increased by 4.5%. The discrepancy raises high-stakes questions. Was there a misrepresentation of data? Was the agency misleading the public, or simply working with incomplete or evolving information? At a time when public trust in institutions is fragile, and crime remains a top concern for voters and policymakers alike, the accuracy, transparency, and methodology behind these statistics are under intense scrutiny. This hearing thus represents more than just a debate over numbers. It's a broader discussion about government accountability, data integrity, and how public agencies navigate complex transitions while trying to maintain credibility. The exchange encapsulates the tension between political oversight and bureaucratic process, between data collection and public messaging, and between what the numbers say and what the public perceive.
So if you look at the system as it sits today, if you go into the Crime Data Explorer and look at the 2021 numbers, it's an automated system because we're trying to go to monthly releases. So as a result of that, it's an automated system that pulled only what was reported to the FBI in the NIBRS program in 2021, which was only 65% of the population. In order to try to get it right, our team went out and manually sourced data from agencies that did not submit NIBRS, like New York City, Phoenix, Chicago, and used those numbers to supplement the NIBRS reporting in 2021 to be able to have a more true and accurate depiction of crime in the nation.
And what was that number? When you put it all together, what was that number?
For the number of coverage was about 78% of the 78.5%.
No, what did it go up or down?
It went down.
Went down. Okay, but that's still not all of it. That's 78%.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, but you stand by that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's where we're at. All right. I mean, this has been the whole concern is that on one hand you said one thing, on the other hand we had something reported that people analyzed and said, no, it actually went up. We'd like to get the accurate information. Yeah, I yield to the chairman.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Director, I want to ask a question because this kind of gets to the nub of it, right? So you said 78%. You're based your data on 78% participation rate ultimately, right? Because whoever didn't participate, you went and looked at whatever their public reporting was, right?
Yes, sir. And then in addition to that, the extra 22%, we used traditional NIBRS estimation methods to look at like.
So let's leave the estimation methods off for a second because I don't have time to get into that. But I want to ask this question: if I understand what you're saying today, if you looked at the automated responses, that's what these people who are independent researchers look at, and that's where they would have derived a 4.5% growth in the crime rate. Is that fair?
Yes, sir. That's
okay.
fair.
The time is expired.